welcome to Draw With Me. I'm Danny Gregory, and we get together every Thursday at this time to just do some drawing on some random subject picked from the ether. And as you could see, last week was a strange melange of the Taj Mahal and ravens. Well, actually 2 weeks ago it was supposed to be ravens. It wasn't. But then, because I didn't show up, but then you guys went off and drew ravens on your own without me. So Draw Without Me is the new show that we will be premiering on YouTube and Facebook very soon. It's basically going to be a show that doesn't exist because you guys can draw on your own, which is awesome. Thank you so much. I loved all the ravens, all the various interpretations. It was really exciting to see. And some people combined that with last week's subject, which was the Taj Mahal, as we were celebrating Indian Republic Day. So it's nice to see all of you here. We have people from all over the world. Here's Kathy Thompson coming in from France, and Carrie Palmer. Hello, Carrie. Haven't seen you in a while, from Cincinnati. And yeah, lots of people from all over. So thank you all for joining us. And Garrett, it's nice to see you, and Carol from Long Island. So, yes, and Fredo, of course, who lives in the Taj Mahal. And Fredo, we miss you, and we're sorry what happened to you. It was unfair. You should have been the one to take over. Yes, Kate says today is National Tots Day. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be drawing a tot. It would be a very, very brief program, I think, if we did. I have a different plan, so hang in there, and we will figure out something to draw. So today let me move on. Let me just blunder through this. As you may have noticed, I'm alone here. JJ is not joining me today, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe a different kind of program. We'll see. But I am joined by Winsor and Newton. Winsor Newton is joining us with Calligraphy Ink. It's the first time that we've ever seen or been blessed with some Calligraphy Ink from Winsor Newton to give away. I've used their Calligraphy Ink and I love it, but this is the first time we're giving it away. I'm not sure. JJ is here. She's in an undisclosed location, a remote undisclosed location. But JJ or Naomi, do you know how much ink we're going to be giving away? I'm not sure if we know that, but I imagine it will be enough to make some beautiful calligraphy and other stuff with. I'll be using it today, so you'll see what the fuss is all about. I'm particularly fond of that gold one. I hope that they'll be giving that away. But if you would like to be a lucky recipient of this, or to be at least in the drawing for it, please write to us at info@sketchbookschool.com. Send us your U.S. mailing address and tell us why. Why do you want this? Why should you be blessed with this bounty? And then we will figure it out. And we will figure out what to do. Buto Crafts asks, are they all shimmers? I assume you mean, are they metallic? No, none of them are. I mean, the gold one probably is-ish. We'll see. Yeah, it kind of is reflective, but the rest are calligraphy inks. And I see some questions coming in. Are they waterproof? It says here, a professional calligraphy ink for fountain dip or technical pen and airbrush. It says here non-waterproof, bright non-waterproof, light fast. So yeah, you wouldn't want to put a waterproof ink into your fountain pen. So yeah, they are non-waterproof and they are beautiful colors. So all right, there we go. That's our sponsorship for today. Another thing I want to talk about will continue to be this little film that I put out yesterday. It's my first animated film, The Artist Who Couldn't Draw, and it is on YouTube. A lot of people have watched this movie in the 24 hours since, so 48 hours now since it's been out. A lot of people have left very nice comments, and it is a film that I made over the course of the last 4 months, teaching myself how to do animation, how to use a bunch of different tools to do animation with, and drawing millions of drawings and stuff like that. So I see a lot of folks like it. Thank you so much, and thank you. So it's very nice to hear from you and to know that you liked it. The thing about this film is, it is a piece of insidious propaganda spreading in a viral, hopefully, way the importance of drawing and the fact that anybody can draw. As we all know, we're all here, we've all bought into this. I didn't make this film for you guys. I made it for the people who are afraid to draw, who say, you know what, I was born without talent, or particularly creative people. That was really my target. People who are creative, but who feel like they can't draw. And they create all kinds of other stuff, but they don't draw. And they work all kinds of ways around the fact that they can't draw, don't draw, won't draw, haven't drawn, have no talent. And they trace and they cut things, collage, and they do all kinds of other things. And basically saying, you know what, you can draw. And when you do, you can incorporate it into all your other creative stuff, and it will be that much more fun. So it's a story of how a guy learns to do this. And what I would say with you, please, is share it. I see that Jennifer shared it with her filming discords. Hopefully that doesn't mean that she's in Discord with other filmmakers, but probably the Discord platform. But yes, the more that you can share it, the more we can get this word out, the more people will draw with us, the more the world will be an amazing utopia. You know it's going to happen. We're all sitting around drawing all the time. That is what we want. We want to spread the word, and we want people to, to get out there and make it. So, all right, yes. Thank you all. Seems like a lot of you did share it, and that is perfect. That's what I really like. So, let's get on with today. So today is a day to celebrate International Optimism Day. Yes, it's tater tots, but it's also optimism. National or International Optimism Day. I say international because I think it began actually in Croatia. And the focus is, I see we have Robert Crumb joining us now. Robert, it's nice to see you again. So International Optimism Day. Does that resonate with you? It does with me. I think it's an interesting thing to try and make some art about, to try and make some optimistic arts. And of course, yes, we're vying with Play Your Ukulele Day. Don't have a ukulele? Sorry, dude, but maybe you can play for us in some future time. Yes, so let us think of how to do this. How are we going to do it? So here's what I'm thinking is, let's start by drawing a glass half full. What do you think? And what I want to do is, okay, let me just tell you my overall plan here. My overall plan, once I get this camera sorted out, is to draw this half empty glass. See? What did I just say? Draw this half full glass and letter a quote next to it. Here's an example. I don't usually show you an example, but today I will. Here's an example. Here's one I prepared earlier. This is a quote from C.S. Lewis. I think we'll do a different quote, but it says, "You're never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream." Fairly optimistic, right? It evokes optimism, but we're going to use a different quote. I have a couple of quotes lined up. But yeah, so that's the basic idea. We're going to do some fancy pants lettering with gorgeous Winsor Newton calligraphy inks and a drawing too. Okay? You down with it? So we're going to start by doing a drawing. A little drawing, nothing too elaborate. And I'm using a dip pen and some of this ink. And let's just do a drawing of this glass. And let's try it, let's do it slowly so that we can really try and capture this glass in all of its optimistic glory. So try and focus on the rim. What is the shape of the rim? Right? It curves at the bottom and the top. Generally, with this kind of a situation, I find the curve here at the top is more or less what the curve at the bottom is, particularly if you're looking head on. Okay? And the top is sort of the inverse of that. So there's this glass has sort of kind of a thick bottom, and seems to have a kind of a bubble embedded in it. You don't need to draw that. It's actually kind of distracting. I wish I hadn't drawn it, but I'll get around it. And this glass is, of course, half full. So there it is, a glass half full. And then let's just look at some of the ways in which the light is hitting this glass. Right? That is what's going to make it look like water. Of course, is all the reflections of the space around it. And the different levels of tone, because essentially this is pretty much of a monochromatic kind of image. And you see the top has all these reflections in it, and then the side is essentially transparent. Right, so we want to sort of show those different parts of it. And then if you look at this rim, it has a little bit of a thickness to it. Right? And then there's some reflections off the side here. I'm drawing with a pretty thick nib, but fortunately this nib is kind of somewhat flexible, so I can do some gradations in it, some thicker lines and some thin lines. I'm also, you'll notice, drawing it on the left-hand side of the page. Why? For practical reasons, honestly, but reasons that I think will work to accomplish my goal. The practical reason is the ink is wet and will probably remain wet for, a little bit, and I don't want, when I start doing lettering, I don't want to have to worry about sticking my ham fist into it. And now let's look at this interesting shadow. Isn't it interesting? See how it's got, I'm going to actually make it really pretty dark. Make it really dark. And then it has kind of these ghostly lines coming out of it. Sort of nice. And then there's a little tiny bit of shadow right under the bottom there. And then you notice that there's a little rim of light right at the top there. So putting in those things helps to just capture the fact that the shadow is a shadow of a transparent thing, which seems kind of like a contradiction, but you can do it. So there we go. That's sort of a glass half full. Okay? So now that I have that, let's look at the whole page. So here I have that sitting on the page, and you could do this drawing in other media. You could do a watercolor of it. I'm not. I'm going to continue working in just this blue ink. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take away this photograph. So if you want to do a screen grab of it, you can, but I'm going to take it away in a second because I'm going to replace it with a quote. So I'm thinking we might have time to do a couple of these, to do a couple of different pieces, but let's just try this one. Let's see, what is this one? Yeah, how about that? This is a quote from Jimmy Buffett, of all people. Not his brother Warren, but Jimmy Margaritaville Buffett. So let's try, and I'm going to start with a little quotation thingamabob. What are those things called? Quotation mark. Is there some more interesting name for that? So it takes no more time to see the good side of life than the bad. A little prosaic, almost not a quote. Almost, you could say, is that really a quote? Or is that sort of a truism? I don't know. Is it a line from a song? I don't really know that much about Jimmy Buffett. I know the obvious couple of songs. What is the one about cheeseburgers in paradise? All right, so it takes... Let's do a different kind of T. Okay. So, the trick to lettering is to some extent confidence and consistency and taking enough time so that you don't misspell things. But it's easy to just get lost in the letter and lose the word in the whole quote. So to keep thinking about that whole quote, it takes no. So I like to kind of jazz it up. That's why I'm not really a calligrapher. I've never studied calligraphy. I don't really know very much about it. I'm way too sloppy and undisciplined to be an authentic calligrapher. But I think of calligraphy or lettering as basically just drawing. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Is I'm just drawing letters as I kind of know what they look like, but I'm also, I like to just mix it up. Sometimes do an uppercase letter, sometimes do a lowercase letter, sometimes have really big serifs, which are those kind of tails. That letters have sometimes. There's a lot of T's in this quote. Takes no more time to. It's the fourth T I've done. And I like to, when you have a double letter like this, C, I like to then do a completely different kind of letter. Just for the sake of, and sometimes you'll see that I'm getting what I call, or what is called, railroading, which is when something like that happens, where your pen, the tines on your pen separate. So, okay, so now I've got to this point. It takes no more time to see the, and I'm thinking because I have it, why not introduce a little bit of a different color? Because I've been doing this whole thing in blue to kind of match that blue of that, the blue that I chose in order to draw the bottle, the hat glass jar. Sorry, I'm a little distracted because I'm opening this glorious bottle of gold ink. But anyway, the drawing that I did of the glass is obviously in blue, so I'm going to try using gold to just do good. Let's see how that works. That does look nice, doesn't it? Gosh, gold ink is just, what a luxury. Yeah, you feel like a sort of medieval monk when you pull out that gold. In the best possible way. Many things about being a medieval monk have zero appeal to me, but using gold to do lettering is one of the upsides of the job. All right, so good is in gold. Now I am cleaning off my nib, drying it on a towel. It's ready to go again. I'm going to retire the gold. And maybe I'll think of some other color to do the bad in. What about the ugly? Okay. Takes no more time to see the good. If you'd like to learn more about doing what I'm doing right now, here's an opportunity for a shameless plug. My new class, Dip into Dip Pens. Just came out last week. Yeah, a lot going on. Films coming out, courses coming out, pear blossoms coming out on our tree in the front yard. Okay, so that's then the, what do you think, bad? Should I move the down? It would fit there. But I think the and bad should be together. Because I also want to leave some room for embellishment, as we say in the trade. All right, so what do you think bad? Is bad red, maybe? I have brown. Let's try red. Let's try red. Do I not have... Okay, I have some red here. At first I thought, man, I don't have red ink. Oh yeah. There's a big bad bee. All right, so now I'm going to go back to blue. How's yours coming along? Okay, so I wanted to put down Jimmy Buffett here. I don't want to put down Jimmy Buffett. I have nothing but respect for him. But I want to put down his name here. So I think but I want to make it sort of look different. But I don't want to introduce another color. So think I'm just going to do something sort of smaller. Okay, so there, it's slightly different. And that's pretty good. So I think what I might do is, I could ruin this immediately, or I could wait and ruin it in a little while. So yes, I think what I will do is put this aside, let it dry, and then maybe we can come back to it and add a little bit of zhuzhing and fancy stuff later on. Let's let it dry, and that way I won't feel miserable when I ruin it. And we've only been doing this for like 15 minutes, right? Less even. So let's start with another clean sheet, and maybe a different color, maybe brown. Here's another quote that I have, and we have to think of a visual to go with it. So maybe you can help me figure that out. So we could do this. We're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. Kind of a classic, Oscar Wilde, sort of positive. Here's another one. I just came across this and I thought it was kind of funny. When the road ahead seems impossible, start the engine. By this guy named Benny Bellamacina. Bellamacina. Benny Bellamacina. Have you ever heard of him? He is I think he's English, and he's sort of like a songwriter, and he's written a bunch of books of like poetry. So yeah. So what do you think? Do you like that? When the road ahead, I was thinking like we could draw a little car. Could be. Or we could draw, or we could go back to Oscar Wilde. When we were all in the gutter, wait, excuse me, I need you to leave and I need you back. We're all in the gutter, but some of us looking at the stars. I think that could be quite nice, actually. We could illustrate it with stars. Fairly simple, right? I'm not seeing any feedback, so I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to assume that you're on board with me. Yes. I'm optimistic that this will work out nicely. So, yeah, so I'm thinking it could be nice. Do it in maybe a kind of a sepia tone. And do it in a sepia tone. I have this nice sepia ink. See, my finger is it's almost better, but I'm about to lose like a lot of skin from when anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, I'm almost mended, so I'm thinking just, it could be really, I mean, what we could do, I don't really have time for it, but theoretically we could paint the whole thing in a dark color, and then write it in white ink and scatter it with gold stars. But yeah, I just don't have the time for that to dry. So let's just go ahead and do it in a sort of a sepia tone, just because why not? And then see where it goes. So I'm not going to do a drawing first. I'm going to start with a quote. And then we'll figure out what to do with the stars. I mean, I do like this quote a lot. I mean, I like Oscar Wilde so much. Sometime I'll show you a version of the Happy Prince that I illustrated. I made this illustrated version of the book, and I typeset it, and then I bound it. And that was one of my proudest accomplishments at a certain point in my life. I really liked doing that. I don't have the patience for it now. Now I spend time doing animation instead because it's so much more, requires so much less patience. I jest. Maybe the word gutter needs to be big. Should it be in a different color? Black, maybe. I'll try some black. See if you can even tell the difference between the brown and the black. An artist I've been thinking about a little bit recently is somebody who I associate a lot with Oscar Wilde, and that's Aubrey Beardsley. Do you know Aubrey Beardsley? Incredible artist, incredible. I guess they call him Art Nouveau-ish, but he's just incredible use of ink and line, design, incredible design. Yeah, I think that's. I like the slight subtlety of that, of the fact that that's black and the other thing is brown. Yeah, that'll do. That will do. So now I'm going to go back to the brown. Boy, this is dangerous. I've got a lot of open bottles of ink here. But some of us. Okay, let's try that. I have to deal with this G that I made here, this descender here. Sorry, I feel like I'm holding my breath and not speaking, but that is because sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking doing this, particularly with people watching you. But you know, most of the time when I'm doing this, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what's going to happen, what it'll look like, which may not be a good thing. Like, it might have been better to have a plan, but I kind of make it up as I go along. So we're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking using a dip pen? Yes, I'm using a dip pen, and I'm using Winsor Newton Calligraphy Ink. Morwena would like to know what nib I'm using. Well, I'm using a thing called the Spencerian Congressional number 28. It's an old nib, Spencerian. Spencerian is kind of a type of, is it copperplate? No, it's some kind of, it's a form of calligraphy, Spencerian, kind of handwriting. But you can buy this pen. I just looked it up. You can get this nib for $2. Yeah. Let's see, where should I put the? Should be the. What about stars? Should that be a different color? Should that be gold? Yeah, it should be gold, right? Gutter is black, stars are gold. So the should probably be gold as well. Right, let's get the old gold out. Oh, whoa, I almost picked up this bottle uncapped, with the cap not screwed on properly, and the whole thing almost went everywhere. It didn't though. So I'm going to shake it up. You have to shake up this ink to really get it nice and juicy. Get all the good stuff in motion. Look how nice that looks even just on the nib. Doesn't it look great? Yeah. All right, let's do the stars. This ink, this gold ink in particular, is very, very, very thick, and it can try to gum things up a little bit, but it's worth it because you get this beautiful, thick, opaque color. Here's a different kind of A, which is more of a square kind of A. And then let's do a big, beautiful S. All right, that's pretty great. I mean, I'm not being super self-congratulatory. I'm just pointing out that sometimes it goes well. It just goes right, and you go, oh, okay, that's, phew. And I'm going to tuck this final close quote just sort of in that thing. So, all right, it's a pretty good shape. I'm not really happy with all that white space in there, but maybe we can fill that in with stars. And let's put in Oscar. And let's put his name in 2 lines. Okay. Can you see that? All right, so again, I'm going to put this aside to dry. We still have a little bit of time, so I'm not going to do a third one, but I am going to set this aside and come back to the first one. we can bring this guy back. So, I like that quote from Monica. Well, it's not a quote. Is it a quote from you, Monica? Are you saying this? Or is it somebody else said, if you want to fly, give up everything that weighs you down? You know who I bet that's from? Probably from... I'm blanking, but not the FAA, but, you know, the guys who do go through your bags and make you get rid of your guns and other stuff. What the hell are they called? You know what I mean. I can't even think. Oh, it's Buddha. I guess it's not a guy who works in the airport. Although Buddha works everywhere. So, TSA. Thank you, JJ. TSA. Probably not as funny as I thought it was. All right, so maybe I'm just going to go in and do some gold. Get more gold going in here. So what I want to do basically is just make this look a little nicer and also fill in some of the design holes. I'm also thinking that I could get a brush. So this is a nice it's a Windsor Newton brush. Hi.
I keep putting in the chat there are 2 T's in Buffett.
Huh? Oh. JJ just pointed out that there are 2 T's in Buffett. But this is his cousin, Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy Buffett, he often plays Vegas. You're right. Let me fix that. Thank you. It's nice having a literate wife. Jimmy Buffett. Sure, I'm not the first person to make that joke. So, I'm thinking... See the brush? Obviously thicker. But, you know, it's still quite useful. Kind of nice. Right? Doing a few little zhuzhes here and there. It's a small brush. It's a number 1. It's a synthetic sable from Windsor Newton, but it is still a lot thicker than a Spencerian nib, I'll tell you that. But then we can also go in and we can put in little embellishments inside the closed part of certain letters. I like doing that too. I'm not sure why I do that or where I came up with it, but I don't think I invented this idea. But it actually kind of looks like something you would see on like a heavy metal album cover somehow. For some reason it makes me think of that. Yeah, and then what I'm thinking is I want to do this. So I'm going to take the gold and the Spencerian nib again, and I'm going to do this. As if to indicate this gold ink is getting put a little bit too much water in it. But then we can put in, just in case it isn't obvious, yeah, so we have that, and what do you think? Does it need any more? Uh-oh. An attribution battle. Shirley thinks it's Toni Morrison, not Buddha. Okay. Yeah. I think it's good. I think it's done. I think it's good. Let's see how the other one is. Is the other one dry? You know how you test if it's dry? You take a big fat finger and you rub it across the wet ink. And if it smears, you discover that it's not dry. Which is what I just did. But it didn't smear. So it is dry-ish. Alright, so let's set this aside. I think that came out as well as can be expected. Let me just try and swap these without ruining the other one. Alright, so there we go. So, what if... do I have some? I thought I had some silver ink, because I think that would have been nice. Maybe silver? Oh, I know what I could do is, yes, I'm going to use these, which are these metallic watercolors, and I'm going to use some of I'm going to use silver. I'll just use some silver watercolor. Like so. Okay, now what? I'm going to get some fresh water. This is not to contaminate things. And I'll use that same nice narrow brush. Alright, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I've never done this before, but let's just see. I'm kind of just thinking like that, just little doodads everywhere. Little dots, right? So, yeah, and then I can fill in this thing that was offending me, which is this little blank white space here. And that'll seem like I did it on purpose. God, that was brilliant. So, I'm feeling optimistic, you know? A lot of times I would do something like this and you would hear me say, this is probably not going to work, but today I am, you know what? Everything I do is perfect. Everything is going great. And I knew it would. Why? Because it's International Optimism Day. Thanks to Croatia. Croatia. Is Croatia now the new home of optimism? The seat of optimism? I don't know. I don't know. How far is Croatia from the Ukraine? All right. What do you think? I think that's kind of nice. You with me? I mean, this would be nice on a dark paper. I could have done the whole thing on dark paper, or I could have laid down. Like a wash, or even just what would you call it? An area of acrylic ink. Acrylic ink, which is different from calligraphy ink in that when it dries, it is waterproof. So you could totally work on top of it, I think. Learned that from our friend Jimmy when he did his recent gouache workshop with us, and he began with a nice background kind of chunk of red acrylic ink, and then he painted gouache over it. And because it was waterproof and it was dried and it was acrylic, it didn't get activated by the gouache, and therefore it didn't contaminate it. But you could see it in certain areas through the gouache. It was really a great idea. stealing that idea in other forms, not just for gouache. But I always wondered what the deal was with acrylic ink. Like, why do you need acrylic ink? Like, what is that about? Is it like really plasticky? It's not. It's just like regular, kind of has the same feeling and qualities as regular ink. But see that? I accidentally went on that L. Do you hate me for it? No. I'm optimistic that you like it, that you're okay with it. It's not something I would have anticipated I would do. Didn't plan it out, but it happened. So there you go. That's not bad. Okay. Mary Valley says, Susan Branch has a great font she created. How to? Well, I'll tell you how to. I recently wrote about it in my newsletter, in my essay journals, and actually in Studio Notebook, which is my Tuesday thing, and I wrote a whole explanation about how to make your own font, and I gave all the resources for doing it. So it's easy to do, and I have probably 20 fonts that I have designed. If you've read any of my books, a lot of them are made with fonts that I created. I really love doing that. So, yeah. Yeah, so Helen has one too, yeah. Now it's easier than ever. Easier, and in fact, there are resources where you can do it for free. So that's it. Okay, good. I think we're done. Whew. Thank you for being optimistic with me today. So, as I said, I'm kind of busy with a bunch of stuff. We've had some people visiting us. We have more people planning to come and visit us. Now everybody wants to come to Arizona, of course, because it's gorgeous here. It's going to be like in the mid-70s next week. Yeah. We went through winter, which was hellish, and lasted for about 9 days. It seems to be over now. So yeah, so there's that. Yes. And what was I talking about? I was just saying I have a lot of things going on. I am working on a bunch of stuff for Spark. I'm doing my first special event for Spark members. First one that I'm doing kind of completely new. That's going to be coming up in a week or two. And I'm also working on a new course. So we just did the Dip Pen course. I'm working on a new course that I just finished writing, and I'm getting ready to film it. And I'll probably talk to you a little bit about it over time, because I think you might be interested in it. But right now it's tentatively called Your Creative Coach. So the idea behind it is basically, I've been coaching people for a while, and I've been writing about creative matters and writing books about it. Now I wanted to take kind of all the stuff that I think about when it comes to the creative process and the problems that we have with it and how to do it better, and a lot of things that we are frankly never taught in school about how to be creative, how to come up with ideas, how to get projects put together, how to break through the obstacles that our minds can set up for us, how to deal with criticism and internal and external, how to just kind of do stuff and put it all into one class. So I'm kind of working on that, and that is going to be, I don't know, we'll see when it'll be out, but I'm working on it now. So if this sounds at all interesting to you, let me know. I'll let you know more about it, of course, but it's been really interesting to do, and I like it in the form of a course rather than a book for now. So that will be out eventually, hopefully before the summer. So yeah, I see that some of you, Teresa wants to know if the Dip Pen class is the same content as the workshop. It is. It is. We had so many people saying, I missed the workshop, I didn't get to do the workshop. And so we said, you know what, let's take that stuff and make it into a class that you can access anytime you want to. Because the workshop was one Saturday. And then, so if you signed up for it, don't sign up again. But if you didn't, it's our most popular workshop. Who'd have thunk it? Yeah. So, all right. Anna says, reserve a book for me. Anna, it's not a book. I just said it's not a book. Could be a book, but it's not a book. It's a course. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Why isn't it a book? I don't know, because it's a course. And it'll be me talking and giving exercises and giving some insights and stuff like that. Anyway, National Optimism Day. Keep celebrating it. We've got another 12 hours left of National Optimism Day. So go out there, be optimistic, and maybe if you take your things that you made and you put them on Instagram, you put them on Facebook, and share the optimism, that will be nice. Maybe we'll make the world a little bit better today. I also want to make sure that you do some other stuff, which is share it on, tag it, hashtag SBS Draw with me. So then we can go and gather up all of your lettering and your positive thoughts, and we can begin next week's next week's program, show, thing, Draw with me, with a cavalcade of your beautiful, inspirational lettering. I can't wait to see it. What else? The Art for All podcast has been on a little bit of a minor hiatus. Got some plans for how it's going to come back soon, so I'm working on that. And what else? Danny'sEssays.com. I wrote an essay last week that a lot of people wrote back to me about, and that was very gratifying. And a lot of people shared their stories with me. It's kind of interesting, like this whole thing of my writing these essays has become really a dialogue and a conversation that goes back and forth. And it's really one-to-one. It's me and you. If you read what I wrote and you just reply to the email, I will read what you have to say about it or what you thought. And a lot of times people are telling me really, really wonderful things about their experiences. And I'm just learning a lot from you as a reader. If you'd like to get it, it's free. Danny'sEssays.com comes out tomorrow, every Friday. If you haven't had a chance to do it, try it out. You can always unsubscribe at will. Speaking of subscribing, subscribe to this channel, and you'll be reminded next time we do this, which will be next Thursday. And I have no idea what we're going to be doing, but we'll be doing something fun. All right, guys, it's been great hanging out with you. It's been great doing stuff. I'll see you all next Thursday right here. Same bat station, same bat time.